Welcome to the Fair Housing Insiders. We are so thankful that you joined us. And please remember to subscribe here on our YouTube channel or follow and like us on your favorite social media outlet, which you can find links to in our show notes for even more fair housing news and insights. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fair Housing Insiders, episode 107. This is part 2 of our series, Say This, Not That. A lot of fair housing phrases that are out there that can get you into trouble. They may seem innocent, and we're going to give you some ideas of what you can say instead. I'm your host, Jonathan Sarr. Today with us for this episode is Michael Coughlin. So we look forward to your comments on some of these, our 5 phrases for today's episode, Michael. So our first one. This is a quiet community.
Quiet community sounds really nice, right? Everybody wants to live in a quiet community, most likely. And again, on its face, it sounds like a compliment to the property. But it does have some connotations to it that may discourage some residents. And usually when you're saying quiet community, what you might be hinting at is we don't have a lot of loud, rambunctious children running around. And again, while there may be some residents that prefer that, you may end up discouraging some residents that do have kids, which would be protected under families with children. So by all means, please talk about positive things on your property, but this is one you should stay far away from.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Our next phrase. If you don't have a criminal record and have a good job, you should qualify.
Yeah, I don't know where to start with this one. There's a couple big problems there. First of all, nobody is allowed to have a blanket policy that says we do not accept anybody without. You must never have a criminal record anywhere in your history. That's just not going to fly. That's going to get you in real trouble real fast. The other one's saying you need to have a good job. There's a couple problems there, mainly that you could be in a state or locality that protects source of income, in which case, if they receive disability payments, Social Security payments, if they receive housing choice vouchers, they should be able to potentially qualify. And so saying, you need a good job just can be very discouraging for a number of reasons. So in this case, stay away from statements like that. Really, you should always encourage anybody that has any interest, please apply. Even if they have questions like, well, I don't know about your criminal policy, my credit score, am I going to get in? Encourage them to apply, because that's not up to you to decide all by yourself.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Our next phrase. It looks like you need a unit on the ground floor.
Yeah, this is Fair Housing 101. That statement is steering. All right. So let's say a resident came in with a mobility issue. Maybe they are in a wheelchair. Maybe they use a walker. Maybe they have a limp. And you're trying to be nice and say, hey, let's get you a unit on the ground floor. You don't have to deal with those stairs. Well, as much as that might have been a nice gesture, in the end, you were kind of telling somebody where they need to live on your property. And that person may want to live on the second floor or, a below ground unit or something like that. You should never encourage anybody interested in your property to live in one available unit over another. So just never steer them in any direction, because that is a fair housing violation.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Our next phrase. We don't allow animals.
Yeah, this is certainly one that's pretty common these days, unfortunately, because, again, it is just going to cause fair housing complaints left and right. What you are allowed to say is we are a no pets property, because it is completely up to you if you want to allow pets on your property or not. However, assistance animals, which include both service animals, which are trained animals used to help somebody with a disability, such as a seeing eye dog, or an emotional support animal, they are not considered pets under the law. So when you say we don't allow animals here, what you are telling somebody is that someone with a disability who has an animal will not be welcome. So instead, you need to change that phrase to we are a no pets property, and that is perfectly acceptable.
Okay, thank you. And our last phrase for today's episode. We have a couple large popular churches right down the street.
Again, based on who you're talking to, that could seem like a great selling point. It may be a feature for your property that you're near places of worship. But telling people about places of worship, true or not, could then discourage some people of other religions or of no religion, feeling like maybe they wouldn't fit in on your property. This is one of those ones where you wouldn't even try to be inclusive about including other religious houses of worship. Instead, just stay away from it entirely. Talk about your local shopping centers, movie theaters near you, public pools, bars and restaurants, areas of interest that don't have any religious connotation to it. That's the proper way to promote your property while still being fair housing compliant.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your insight on our 5 phrases for today's episode, episode 107. For our audience, if you missed episode 106, be sure to check that out. That has another 5 common phrases that you need to avoid and what to say. And if you're subscribed to our newsletter, you'll have access to the white paper that gives you an overview of all these different phrases and what to say, what not to say. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here and being part of our community. Until next time, take care, everyone.
Happy trading.
Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to hear your feedback about today's episode. Do you have a topic that you would like to see discussed in a future episode? Feel free to share that with us. In the show notes, you'll see a link to sign up for our newsletter. This newsletter will keep you up to date with our latest episodes, blogs, and information about our online fair housing courses. Thank you again, and happy training.